Well, good morning. It is the 29th of October 2020, and welcome to another daily devotional. This morning, as I was just spending some time with Jesus, I was in Joel chapter 2. And of course, Joel chapter 2 is what Peter draws on from the day of Pentecost. But before that passage about pouring the Spirit out upon all flesh, Joel makes this statement about redemption. He says this, "Thus says the Lord, I will restore the years that the swarming locusts have eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter. I will just restore the years that the swarming locusts have eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter." I mean, what's he referring to here? Well, in Joel chapter 1, it says this. It says, "What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. And what the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust has left, the destroying locust has eaten." The locust here in this context of judgment from God. But whenever we look at our lives, we see how the enemy has come in at times like a locust and has taken and robbed from us. You see, the enemy is a thief. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And the locusts were a plague upon the land in biblical times, and even today, where they would come and swarm and just devour the crops and eat all the leaves. And there's four different types of locusts here. Well, there's actually three, and they're all kind of classified as part of the swarming host. But there's four types of locusts here. There's the swarming locust, there's the cutting locust, there's the hopping locust, and there's the destroying locust. Well, what does the cutting locust do? It eats the leaves. I mean, in the Hebrew, it can be also translated as caterpillar here. It's eating the leaves. It's eating the foliage. It's devouring that. And without the leaves, then it exposes the plant. Sometimes things will come in and just eat all our stuff, just take away all our stuff and leave us feeling exposed. And they had the swarming locust, which just overwhelms. They would eat the crops, they would eat the capacity for production, for fruitfulness. And sometimes things come in that just rob us of our capacity to produce things that are good. They rob us of our productiveness. Then there's the hopping locusts. These are the ones that were on the ground, and they would eat the stem of the plant. And that speaks of the strength of the plant. And there are times whenever the locust comes in from the enemy and robs us of our strength. And then there is the destroying locust, or the cankerworm, as it's in some translations describes it. And these would burrow into the ground and they would eat at the root of the plant. And there's times in our lives when the enemy has gotten to the root of who we are, whether it's in our childhood, in our past, or has gone deep into the makeup of who we are and is devouring us from the inside out. But the Lord's promise is that He will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. He will redeem what the enemy has stolen. He will restore what the times when we have been felt overwhelmed by like a swarm of locusts. He will restore what the cutting locusts have taken from us in terms of exposing us. He will restore our capacity to be fruitful. He will restore the stem of who we are, the strength of who we are, that the hopping locusts have eaten. He will restore what the destroying locusts have done to the root of who we are. See, God's promise is restoration. God's promise is payback. God's promise is to give us back what the enemy has robbed from us. And I want to encourage you today, identify where the locusts have eaten from your life. And take this word, take this promise of restoration back to God. And say, God, your promise is you would restore the years that the locusts have eaten. He is faithful and He will do it. Have a great day, guys.